Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back in full strength. I got Stu here, and we got Rick. We got Jonathan in the control room, Nancy Stewart, my co-host by my side here, and for another exciting edition, I guess you could call it, of Earl and Cars. We're going to tell you how to avoid being taken advantage of in the process of buying or leasing a car. Also, maintaining or repairing your car. We've been doing this for a long time. I love new listeners because if you haven't heard the show, just stay tuned for a few minutes. You're not going to listen for 2 hours. We're on until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you probably don't want to listen for that long. You probably got a busy Saturday morning plan. But listen for a few minutes because you'll hear some things and you'll learn some things, hopefully. You might even want to call the show about car dealers. And that's kind of our sole purpose in existence here, is to aid you in arguably the most unpleasant experience that people have in certainly in the process of buying something. You know, you buy a loaf of bread, you buy a house, you buy a lawnmower. You ain't seen nothing until you try to buy a car. And we're buying cars the way I guess people bought cars 100 years ago. The car dealers are locked in. They're protected. They're a protected species, actually. They should be endangered. I say that slightly tongue-in-cheek because I am one of them, in full transparency. I am a car dealer and have been for a long, long time. So I kind of came over to the other side, joined you consumers, but I kept my dealership. And I'm trying to right the wrongs that have been foisted upon you, the buying public in America and the whole world, actually. But we're focusing on the United States. We're going to try to change some things. If we can't change the dealer, we're going to educate you and advise you and consult with you any way we can to help you. So the show is basically you when you call the show. We sit here and look at each other and worry when we don't get calls or text or Facebook post or YouTube post. We're all over cyberspace. The telephone number is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Please jot that number down if you have a second and you could do it safely. 877-960-9960. Now, if you call the show, we're going to answer the phone pretty quickly. I mean, if we're on the line with somebody else, obviously we can't hang up on them, but we're gonna move quickly to get to your call. And we like the phone calls. It's more personal. That really says it all. You get a flavor for a person's ideas, thoughts, personalities. You know how it is when you're speaking one-on-one. We're in a digital age now. Everything is digital, but you can't beat good old-fashioned chit-chat, and that's what we like to do when you call 877-960-9960. Now, for the majority, because I know a lot of people prefer text, I'm one of them. I'm not a telephone person, mainly because of time. I just... There's not enough time, hours in the day, and I try to use text as much as possible. So if you're a texter like me, our text number is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. And if we don't get to your text right away, I just told you we're going to prioritize phone calls, 877-960-9960. But if you text us at 772-497-6530, are you getting dizzy? I am. I'm throwing these numbers out so fast.
I'm good.
I think Stu dozed off there.
I was stretching my back.
But we're on Facebook, and Facebook.com/Earl and Cars. Facebook.com/Earl and Cars. Stu Stewart, he monitors that, and he also monitors the text. So, and then Rick Kearney to my right, who's also our automotive repair and maintenance expert. He monitors youtube.com/Rolling Cars. So you can post on YouTube, and he'll get that right away. I always emphasize Rick because the romance of the automobile is buying a new car.
Here's the truth: you like him better than all of us.
No.
Right, guys?
I just think he's got more information. I'll be honest with you. He's got more specific information that on a daily basis you can use than we probably had. You only buy a car every 4, 5, 6 years. You repair your car every 3 or 4 or 5 months, or maintain your car, I should say. Hopefully you don't have to repair the car every 3 or 4 or 5 months. But if you do have a little thing with your car, Rick is the guy. So if you just go to youtube.com, he'll see it right away. Or you can call Dr. Rick at 877-960-9960. Rick, for you new folks, Rick has been in the business for over a quarter century, technically. And he's evolved from a grease monkey, pardon the expression, just an old-fashioned mechanic, into a robotic electronics,
cyborg.
You could even say artificial intelligence. Well, he's got real intelligence, but he understands the high-tech cars of today. And let me tell you something. I sometimes think the engineers that designed them don't understand them. I guarantee you, the manufacturers in general that we deal with, they don't understand them. They are off the radar in terms of high-tech.
I helped teach them what they built.
Yeah. Well, Rick,
I explained to him what they built.
He's not joking. That's Rick, and he's telling the truth. Rick fills out reports on cars to tell the engineers what they build, what these cars are doing. And they say, oh, we didn't know it would do that, and then they fix it. So, but let's give due credit to the engineers of all the make cars. They know that the guys in the field that are looking at the real McCoy products when they come in the door with a problem and they fix it, they know a little bit more about the car than the engineer that designed it. The engineer who designed the car, they know what it's supposed to do. Rick Kearney knows what the car really does. So if you want to short circuit having to go to General Motors or Toyota or Honda and find out what really is going on with your car, call Rick Kearney at 877-960-9960 or go directly to him on YouTube, and you can send him a video clip, an audio clip, and really get a free diagnosis. You go into a car dealership, you're probably going to pay a couple $100 for what Rick can tell you for free. So I'm really pushing Rick this morning, but it's true. He really does.
That's a good point.
He does, absolutely. Now, we also have a secret line. Don't tell anybody about this. It's a secret.
I didn't know about a secret.
YourAnonymousFeedback.com.
I knew about that.
If you go to YourAnonymousFeedback.com, we don't know who you are, where you are. We can't come and find you, and you have total privacy. And we get some very interesting anonymous feedback. So your Y-O-U-R anonymous ANONYMOUS feedback, just the way it sounds, .com. Your anonymousfeedback.com. And I swear, you have my word of honor, we don't know who you are unless you tell us. And some people do it, they tell us. I don't know why they use the anonymous feedback, but they hi Earl, this is Charlie. But that's okay. If you can tell us who you are. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. That way you can be candid. You might have something you would be afraid would hurt our feelings. You might have something that is maybe not a little profane, profound, whatever it could be. You can say anything, and we will read it on the air, only bleeping the expletives. But we'll read it on the air, kind of like the text. So that pretty much sums it up of what we do. I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy Stewart. She is our female consumer advocate. Females are different than males. Breaking news, okay? They like different cars than men. They drive different cars than men. But you know something? They buy and lease just as many cars, maybe even a few more. So there's such an important economic impact on the world. We like to build up as many female callers as we can. And Nancy, she got the parity in female-male callers up from 0 when we started 20 years ago. Now we're 50-50 female callers. And one of the reasons is was a special offer she has for you ladies out there, you females listening. If you haven't called the show before, listen to what Nancy will do for you and give to you if you do that phone call.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting show. Boy, do we have a lot of information to share with you. That consumer report, my goodness, if you didn't receive it, if you didn't go out and purchase it, it is really definitely worth its weight in gold, and that's the February edition that I'm talking about. Also,
April.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, sorry.
There's the edition that I stumbled upon at Publix, and that is the used car edition, the most reliable. And I believe that is 23 April, as Earl just suggested. So, with all that, and we have a great mystery shopping report. I'll give you a little hint. Second to none since 1931. That's all I'll say. I promised.
Notorious.
That's a good word. I promised the recovering car dealer that I would control myself. I'm going to try. Okay, ladies. As Earl said, you are a huge part of the auto industry. You really are. Financially, big, very big. You make a lot of decisions. We encourage you to call this show and be part of the show. Your voice is very important. The number is 877-960-9960, and you can also text us if you're a little shy at 772-497-6530. This morning I have $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. $50. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Excuse me while I turn off my timer. I have some interesting news from the automotive news about ladies and how brands how they rank among female car buyers. I have a question for you ladies. Give us a call this morning and let us know what your favorite car is to drive. In the automotive news, they talk about the popularity of, and this is for women that drive these vehicles. That's the Buick, the Mitsubishi, the Mini, the Lexus, Infiniti, Mazda, Kia. It's really interesting. And the cars that they don't like, well, GMC, Ford, Tesla, to name a few. So help us out here. Join in the show and give us your opinion. Give us a call and let us know how you feel about these brands that rank among female buyers, female car buyers.
Yeah, I don't know why do women like Buick so much. I know you do because that's why the survey came out. But why? I don't think the average person. I never thought that. I thought Buick was a good car. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I've never heard of it as being the number one car. So you ladies out there, we'd love to hear from you. Why, according to the survey, a lot of you are driving Buicks. Why is that? We men would be curious.
Yes, very much so. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530.
Buicks listen. That's why. No, I'm just kidding.
See, we have 2 comedians in the studio.
I mean, is there anybody?
I don't know
Nancy
anybody who
doesn't
drives a
even know
Buick.
why. When she said in the car coming in, we're talking about why do women like Buick? I don't know. That's the reason. If you don't know, you ask the question.
Hey, if anybody out there wants to know what my favorite car is to drive, it's the Barracuda.
I know that.
Okay, getting back to some serious stuff. Your anonymous feedback, it's real important. Use it. www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Now back to the recovering car dealer. Excuse me, we have to get to the phones.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go to Jan. And Jan is calling us from Lake Worth, and she is a first-time caller.
Oh, wow.
Good morning, Jan.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can. Welcome. You just won yourself $50.
Well, thank you. I just want to say first and foremost, I enjoy your show. I'm always in my car. I'm driving to the gym. I take some classes, and I always turn you on in the morning. And I always learn something, and I'm so grateful that you have the show.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jan, what kind of a car do you drive?
I'm right now driving the Toyota Camry Hybrid. It's a 2012.
Uh-huh.
Put it in 2014 with 20,000 miles on it for $20,000, and I just love it to death. It does everything for me. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah, we were wondering why we read a survey in Automotive News that said women prefer Buicks, and so obviously you don't prefer Buicks. But do you have any thoughts on Buicks? Do you have any women friends that love Buicks?
I think I used to own one.
Okay, there you go.
I think that it was a large one, and my kids used to call it the gangster car. You know, I used to take kids to school. I used to do that chauffeur.
That's
and
funny.
on school trips, you could fit a lot of kids in the car, and then they used to write a thank you note and say, "Oh, thank you, Jan, for taking us on the school trip. We love your gangster car." You know, it was love.
Great. Did you know that Toyota also stands out in popularity among women?
Yes, it's a
Well, good.
conservative.
They're smart, too.
Okay.
It's a conservative car.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I think it's like a conservative car. You know, it has,
Yeah.
you know, I like the
Yeah.
bells and whistles, like
Yeah.
but it's just a basic car.
Jan, does it surprise you that women don't? Well, they're not interested in driving a Tesla.
No, that's not true. That might be my next car. 2 out of my 4 sons have Teslas.
Well, thank you. You've just proved the automotive news wrong.
I think it's who you associate with, you know? Like 2 out of my 4 sons own them, and they let me drive them, and they're trying to get me into it because I'm getting older. I'm going to be 70, and they want me to have more safety features.
Yeah, that's a great reason. I'm 80 and I do drive a Tesla Plaid. Well, let me rephrase that. My husband and I drive a Tesla.
Wonderful.
So what can we do for you this morning?
Well, I just wanted to call you and just tell you how much I enjoy listening to you. And I'm a first caller, and that was kind of like an incentive as well.
Thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, especially when you're going to work out. You go, girl.
You betcha.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Stay on the line and give me your contact information, Jan.
Sure will.
Okay, we're going to go to Tony, who's calling us from Port St. Lucie. Good morning, Tony.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Great. I enjoy your show also. It's a great program, and when I did work, I was in the automotive industry a little bit. I was a vendor for the car companies, and you guys always had a great reputation, so that was good too. But my question is, are you taking orders on the Grand, what is it, Highlander that's coming out in 24?
Yes.
Stu?
Yes.
Okay, you are taking, okay, so they have pricing, they have everything,
No.
so if I come down and talk to them, okay.
No, there's not exactly pricing. Just we have approximate pricing, knowing that every model year goes up a small amount. Actually,
Right.
last year they went up a large amount to, I guess, an
Yeah.
inflation adjustment, but usually like 1%. And but also, if you put in an order for a 2024 Highlander, that vehicle is going to get delivered in 2024, and we anticipate pricing coming down considerably by then. Certainly, we anticipate it coming down. It is coming down, and it slowly throughout this year. So. It'll be market pricing. I don't think dealers then will be charging over MSRP then, and so
Okay.
you just get in an order, and it's going to take some time, but getting in early is the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, I've owned Toyota and Lexuses for the last 25 years, and they're great products. Knock on wood, never had a problem with any of them, and some of them I had over 100,000 miles on. And, they're just great products, very reliable, very happy with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about buying the Palisades because they're a little bit bigger. And right now I have a Sienna Hybrid, the 2021.
Right.
And I was thinking about trading it in on a Palisades, but I really wanted to stay with the Toyota product. It's just the Highlander was a little small, where the Grand Highlander looks by its dimensions.
Right.
Are going to be similar product to the the bigger
Palisade.
product.
Yeah, that was the
exactly.
area Toyota's trying to get in there with the Grand Highlander. It looks
Right,
pretty good, and it's,
they'll be coming out in the
spacious.
Platinum and a Limited also, right?
They always do that. They're going to
Right,
divide it up
okay.
by trim levels. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I'll be coming down to see you then.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Tony.
thinking
Thanks.
of us, Tony. Have a great weekend.
All righty. Bye-bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Don't forget that. That's real important. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
The backdrop that Jonathan put together for us is the cover of the April annual auto edition of Consumer Reports. And I've been reading this as long as I can remember. And this is the best annual auto edition I've seen. If you take nothing else from this show, if you're watching, if you're listening, watching a podcast or any other way, you should get a copy of this. Even if you're not going to buy a car, you probably have friends that are buying cars, family members. This is excellent. They did an outstanding job. They really ranked all the new cars and the used cars, and you can even buy a car through Consumer Reports. You can go to Consumer Reports, cr.org dash
You need your
CARRE.
magnifying glass.
Call tracker. Anyway, this is the safest, most reliable, accurate way to buy a car. And they even have a QR code behind me. I think you should be able to capture that with your smartphone and go directly to Consumer Reports. But if you're thinking about buying a new or used car, that's the very first thing you should do. I mean, we'd like you to listen to the show. We have some good information. We have some good information for you on the show, but this Consumer Reports can not only tell you the best car to buy, it also tells you the cars you don't want to buy. And I always say, I know you probably don't want to buy the number one car, the number two car. Everybody has personal feelings about cars, okay? But you don't want to buy the worst car, right? And Consumer Reports has a list of the worst used cars and the worst new cars. Now, fortunately, there's not that many of them. So if you just did nothing else to buy that Consumer Reports April edition, to find out the cars you don't want to buy, I mean, you do really feel stupid. I hate feeling stupid. I mean, I make mistakes, and if I make an honest mistake, I can live with it. But if I make a stupid mistake, I beat myself up for about 2 days. So don't beat yourself up for 2 days by buying a car that Consumer Reports told you was a terrible car. And pick up an edition of the April annual auto Consumer Reports. You can get it free at the library. You can even go online free at the local library, and you can go online, or you can pick up a copy at the newsstand. So, or you subscribe. Anyway, I swear to you, I'm not an agent for Consumer Reports, and I don't get a commission for selling Consumer Reports. And I know a lot of people out there don't like Consumer Reports. I've had my issues with Consumer Reports. They're not perfect. The only thing they are is they are totally honest.
And consistent.
And I will stake my life on that. They are honest. They don't take money from the manufacturers of automobiles. They don't take money from car dealers. They don't take they exist on contributions. They don't accept advertising. When they test a car, they buy it for the sticker price. They go to the car dealer and they don't say, I'm Consumer Reports. They just say, I want to buy that car. They buy it and they test it. So total transparency, total honesty. I know they're not always right. I know they make mistakes, but they're right about 95% of the time, or maybe even better.
Yeah, I agree with you. They aren't always right.
No.
But 95 or more % of the time, they are.
Yeah.
And they test these vehicles, as you said, they purchase them, and the number of miles that they drive these vehicles is really impressive. It's not only impressive, but it just really helps to, walk you through this landmine that we call the auto industry. The other edition that I have in my hands is the used car that just came out, and they list the very worst. They had the very worst list of used cars that you can check out, and it just helps to prepare you on this journey to purchase a vehicle. And there's a whole lot of other great information in this edition. And by the way, I picked this up at Publix yesterday. It was really an accident that I saw it on the stands. I had never seen something like this before. But it's a great Bible. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to talk with Doug. He's a regular caller, and he's calling us from Boca. Good morning. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, Doug, is that you?
I hear your cat.
I think we got to...
My middle name's Doug.
Yeah. Call back, Doug. We can't hear you.
Your middle name's Doug.
I think his cat dialed us.
I'll call back.
Oh, no, I hear him.
Oh,
I hear you, Doug.
I hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we
coming
can hear
through.
you now.
Yeah, we heard. Well, you're probably guzzling coffee, right?
No, actually, I didn't make it yet. I yelled at Sim. I said, please boil the water. I'm coffeeless. So, Sim had this miraculous thing happen with her Honda Accord. It's a 2018, and she extended the lease, right?
Uh-huh.
And she kept extending the lease. And it's it's a 2018, and now it's 2023, and they said we have till April. And it's like, I've never heard this before, that a company like Honda would do that. It's just bizarre.
It is, yeah. You're right.
Because we were supposed to turn it in, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a record. That could be a Guinness record. I don't know why they would do that, but that's great. I mean, it's a bargain for you.
Right. And so I want to get into a Toyota, but the situation with the GRs makes me want to give up on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What other kind of Toyota would you suggest that wouldn't be like $70,000-$80,000 like the Supra?
Well, again, I'll go back to Consumer Reports. I know I sound like a broken record, but they rank the Corolla as, I think, the best new car. And, and so it's very reasonably priced compared to all the others. And that's what, that's not coming from me. That's coming from Consumer Reports.
What is it you're really looking for, though?
Well, I wanted the GR, but I gave up on that since it's like I don't want to mention, just like every dealership they'll call me up and they go, oh, we got the core in.
Yeah.
I go, well, how much is that? And they, well, sticker price is this, but we added this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So you're looking at the GR Supra,
yeah.
the BMW.
The GR Corolla.
Yeah,
Oh, the GR. Okay, well,
yeah, it was a Corolla hybrid. I'm sorry, Doug. It was a Corolla hybrid. That's the number one car, and then the Cross is the number two car. Sounds like I'm doing a commercial, but let's go to the number three car is the Subaru Forester and the Ford Maverick hybrid. As I say, if you don't have a copy of the April Consumer Reports, which you probably don't because it just came out, but you can thumb through there and you'll find at least their opinion on the best car you should buy.
Okay, and I still have my Honda Civic Si that was a replacement for the one that was struck by lightning. So
Honda's a great car. Honda's one of the top cars in the world.
there's also the rumor that they're going to take the Toyota 86, which is the old Scion FRS, and make that, that's going to be a GR soon.
yeah, and that's the one I was interested in too. But when that'll be available
Yeah.
is sketchy.
Probably another year or two.
Easy there, Rick.
Excuse me. Sorry. A year or two for that one.
And then Sim says, "Well, why don't we get a Tesla?" And I know you guys did, but I'm still not sure about electric cars. I know they're good, but you still have things about them like you have to put a special outlet in your house in order to charge them, right? So
Well, you don't have to. I mean, you can use outside chargers, but they have it is convenient. I love it because every night I just plug in the Tesla, and you never think about charging. It's just automatic. You charge it every day, and you got a full charge. I got 300 miles, and of course I don't drive 300 miles a day usually anyway. So I love the idea of charging them.
Yeah, it's not difficult at all. We really have, have it down pat now. I mean, before we would forget to charge, the Tesla, but it's just it's like having a cup of coffee. You can relate to that. You just plug it in, and I usually unplug it in the morning because sometimes, Earl always says to me, I'm really afraid that I'm going to forget to unplug the Tesla, and I'm out there and I can see it, so I just take it up. But it's just, in the beginning, it
I
was
was thinking
difficult.
about getting a very long cord just in case.
Now I got it handled.
And
Well,
the
thank
unit
you.
is waterproof too, so you can mount it. My neighbor has one mounted on the outside of their house.
Oh,
wow.
So I mean,
Very
it's
cool.
you don't have to have it like totally garaged. It'll mount outside, and I guarantee that Tesla's smart enough. You're not going to drive away with that cord connected.
yeah.
It's not going to
got
electric.
it.
Doug, you'll enjoy this. Rick sent me an article. Did you know that Mississippi is making it illegal to sell electric vehicles?
What?
Who's doing that?
Mississippi. The state of Mississippi is telling the electric car manufacturers that they cannot sell cars out of facilities,
Brick and mortar building.
brick and mortar facilities, and. I mean, I'm
That's
not
not
gonna,
surprising.
I'm not going to make any comments. There are people out there from Mississippi I know that are very nice people and very intelligent people.
Probably people in Mississippi
Well,
very
I'm not
embarrassed
gonna-
by that.
I
too.
won't. But to me, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. I just
Very ridiculous. Very.
Well, they're going to make them follow. It's the dealerships there, and the other manufacturers, other auto manufacturers, are going to make them follow that same tried and messed up situation where they've got to have dealerships for electric cars, the same as regular cars,
Which ain't
will
gonna-
ruin
which ain't going to happen.com. So that's just another way of saying we don't like electric vehicles.
Okay, hey, Doug, do you have any other questions? I'm really sorry to cut you short. We are really backed up on the phone lines.
Oh no, you gave me lots of time. Thank you. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Thank you so much.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And here's some information via Jonathan. Thanks so much, Jonathan. Did you know that General Motors hired a female engineer? They hired a female engineer to build the features on the Buick models, such as better seating, and bigger cup holders, amongst other things.
Well, the answer
So
to the question.
there's some of the reasons
Wow,
why.
see, I knew
women,
there had to be an answer, and that is what,
Yeah. Thanks,
kudos
Jonathan.
to General Motors. I mean, duh. You want to sell cars to women? Let a woman help design the car, and she understands women? Wow, that's a great, thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, definitely. We are going to go back to the phones. We're going to talk to David from New Jersey. Good morning, David.
Good morning. I have a question for Rick today.
Yes, he's right
Okay,
here.
Right here.
Hey, Rick. Well, first I want to thank you. About 2 months ago, I called about my windshield wipers. The Toyota dealer wanted to change the switch, and you suggested the motor. And I ordered the motor. They put it in, and that was the problem. It was only working on the high speed.
Yep.
And you gave me some reasons why it probably was the motor, and you were right. So that really helped me out. Saved me time and money.
Good. I'm glad. Excellent.
Okay. So now my question is now the car, it's a 2012 Prius. I'm the original owner, has about 160,000 miles, and now the light's staying on the dashboard. So the dealer wants to change the 4 devices, but that's kind of too expensive. It's like $850 to do it. Then they'll put aftermarkets in, but they told me they generally don't work. I would have to bring it to them, and no guarantees.
Wait, which light is staying on?
The tire pressure is staying on and blinking, and they said it's the devices in the wheels need to be changed.
Right, the tire pressure sensor. It could be one, or it could be 2 or 3 or all 4 of them have either the battery has finally given up and it's reaching a low point where the battery can't send a signal out, or the unit itself has simply died. And 11 years old, yeah, they do start hitting that point. Our dealership, we've actually reduced our price on them. It's like $100 each on the sensor itself, and then the labor is about, I want to say about $150 for the first one, $200 for the second, third, and fourth. Because anything over the first one is just one price for the up to the next 4 of them. The problem is that you can replace it, but it's got a code number written on that sensor that you need to make sure you save that code number, because then that has to be programmed into the computer in the car so that it knows what sensor to look for. Now they've got them, the newest ones coming out, the car will automatically detect it and understand, hey, that's my sensor after it's been driving down the road for a few miles, and it will even determine where on the car that sensor is. But with the older ones, yeah, it does get a little pricey to replace those.
Does he have to go to the dealer to do that?
Generally, yes, because our software for programming that part is proprietary. Your other option really is just follow the old-fashioned check my tire pressures once a month like everybody used to do, and a little bit of black electrical tape hides that light and you never even see it. And because, I mean, we're not talking a system that is required by law. We're not talking a system that is going to prevent you from having a serious breakdown.
Yeah, that's what I do, David. I think that's a great idea. A little black friction tape over the light, and be sure you check your tire pressure once a month.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
just like we used to do.
That's what I was going to do if I couldn't do it any lower. The only thing is if you do have a flat or a blowout while you're driving,
Yeah.
it won't, you won't.
And the fact that it's expensive is the fact that you have to go to the dealer, and you're from New Jersey. You might call your local legislator in New Jersey and say, have you considered the Right to Repair Act? The Right to Repair Act is starting to be put into different states, and they're lobbying in Florida right now for that. Trying to get that in, which says that any independent repair company has right to the data and the software and the information that the manufacturer has on the car. Right now, it's a secret between the dealer and the manufacturer. So ABC Repair Company can't buy the diagnostic machinery. They can't get the information, the software to do a repair. So they limit the competition. Therefore, the prices are skyrocketing. sky high. If you get that through in New Jersey, I guarantee you the replacement cost of those sensors would be half of what you're having to pay now.
Well, that's what Costco told me they do them, and they actually did some on a car of mine years and years ago. But they said they can't do them on Toyota and Lexus because of what you just said.
Yep. But I
I
mean,
didn't realize that was true.
yeah, if you go back to any car before 2004, when those sensors were first being installed, it was only a couple years before that they were using what's called a non-intrusive system, where the computer would simply look at the wheel speed sensors and say, oh, this wheel's traveling at a different speed than the other three constantly, so it must be low on air. But you go back just a few years before that, my cars never had sensors or anything.
We got a lot of calls.
I only knew if the tire was low by looking at it. So
I'll
you
tell you-
check your tires once a month and you're good.
Yeah, great information, Rick
Yes.
and David. If you have another question, we'll take
No,
it, but we have so many calls backed up.
I'm good. I appreciate taking my question. Have a good day, everybody.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
and,
Tim.
and David, take a look at that February edition of the new car features that we love, some we don't. And it talks all about what we just discussed, tire pressure and sensors and computers. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Bill, who has been holding patiently from Palm Springs. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Nancy. I had a question or two for Earl, but first I wanted to ask you, why did you tell that lady you're 80 years old? I've seen your picture, Nancy. Come on.
I think
She's
before
lying.
you say anything, you asked me why. Because I think about my age more now than I ever did before. And I should have been thinking about it before, because no one believed that my children were my children. They thought they were my sisters.
Nobody believes you're
And-
80.
Pardon me?
Nobody believes you're 80.
And right now, at 80 years old, I think about mortality, and I think about what life I have left ahead of me. And I should have been doing this before, but I'm doing it more so right now, and trying to enjoy every single moment on this earth. And I'm proud that I lived this long, but I want to live, it sounds ridiculous, another 80 years. Okay, I answered your question.
I understand. I understand. I think about my own mortality at times. But anyways, I had a question or two for Earl.
Okay.
He's right there.
Earl,
I'm
I know you have a lot
82
of
years
callers.
old.
Earl, I know you have a lot of callers, and you might have wrote about this in your book.
That isn't
but
going to
your-
stop me from knocking him off his chair.
Your father was Doug Stewart, right?
That's my brother. He was my older brother, half brother actually.
Oh,
and
okay.
Earl Stewart was my father, and I'm Earl Stewart Jr. And sitting across from me is Earl Stewart III, now AKA Stu.
The last of the Earls.
Yes, the
Okay.
last of the Earls.
Okay. I know you have a lot of callers with more pressing questions on financing and questions for Rick and all, but I was just wondering if I could ask you about your brother. I was born and raised here, and while I never met him, I do remember him from his television commercials.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering how he got his start in the business, and when and where y'all were originally from here. Or was your dad in the business also?
Yeah, my dad started Stewart Pontiac in 1937, and
In West Palm?
in West Palm Beach, yeah, and
Okay.
and my brother Doug Stewart at that time was in Detroit, and he was working for GMAC, General Motors Acceptance Corporation. And after my father bought he started it from scratch with a man named Lawrence Obie, and there were 50-50 partners. So in 1945, he asked my brother, I was 5 years old at the time, and I was too young to work in the dealership. So he asked my brother to come to West Palm Beach, and he did. And he came into the business with my father. So that's how Doug Stewart started in the business, and automotive background, General Motors Acceptance Corporation.
Okay, so your dad built the dealership, the Pontiac dealership down there on Dixie?
Yeah, it was Lawrence Obey was his partner. If you want the real history, my mother loaned him her life savings, $10,000 to start the dealership, and then Obey put in the rest of the money. And rumor had it that he got his money from bootlegging during Prohibition, but that's only a rumor. And they started the dealership, and the rest is history.
Why does Lawrence Obey sound familiar? What else did he do? That name sounds familiar for some reason.
You know, honestly, he lived at the Fontana Apartments on Flagler. He was from Michigan. He had a sailboat, and my father told me that he used to get booze in Canada and sail it across the Lake Michigan or whatever it is, and sell it during Prohibition. And he made a lot of money.
When was repeal?
So I mean, Lawrence Obey has long passed away, and I think the statute of limitations is up, so I can let the cat out of the bag.
So, did your dad build the Pontiac dealership on Dixie?
Yes, he. Well, actually, the very first one was on Olive, and that building no longer exists. And then he moved into the Pontiac dealership, which was at 1928 South Dixie Highway, right across the Carefree Theater. A lot of people, old time, right next to it. Yeah.
And Roger Dean was down the street before he moved out west.
Yeah, Roger Dean, and McCoy was a first Toyota dealer. He moved into the place where Roger Dean was. It's just a lot of history. You sound like a guy that's been around town for a while.
Well, I was born and raised here.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the Oldsmobile dealership down there on Olive.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Harper Olds?
Clark Oldsmobile, Harper Clark. And
Harper Clark, rather.
Harper Clark was my father's first salesman.
Really?
And then apparently he did pretty well because he was able to get the Oldsmobile franchise. So a lot of history.
Okay. I'd love to talk with you about this. I know you have other callers. I'll let you go. Do you write about any of this in your book? I've been meaning to get it. I want to get it one day.
Yeah, actually, my new book, which is I keep saying is coming out. I said it was coming out in January. I lied, and it's very near being published. So it's called Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and I do talk about what you talked about. Redemption.
Okay.
Redemptions of a recovering car dealer. Yeah. The first one is Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer.
We're trying our best to get it, published.
Wrapped up.
All right.
That's it, wrapped up.
I know you have other callers. I'd love to sit down with you over a beer one day and talk with you.
I'd like that too, Bill.
I'll let you go. Let you go. Thank you.
Thanks so much
Bye
for
now.
the call. We're going to go to John, who has been holding patiently from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Oh, good morning. For the gentleman that called earlier about wanting to get a GR, but now he's thinking, he was turned off about the Tesla because he had to get a different outlet.
Yeah, it was Doug. Yeah.
When I was calling into the station, you may have already answered his question or came up with this, but for me, when we bought our Tesla, we bought the charging system that was $500. It runs on 240. We had it installed. Electrician came out and installed it. We have it on the inside of the garage, and the best investment we ever made. And it's not a special outlet. It just runs off of 240 out of your.
That's correct.
Box.
Yeah, that's correct.
And if he's still listening, my charging bill for the month, it's on the app, is only $46 a month to charge my car at home.
Yeah.
And I do it at midnight when it's 16 cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah, well, that's real smart. I didn't even think about that. I just plug mine in at night, but I should wait till the rates go down.
Yeah, and they go through it with you, and that you just find out when you're stay off of the peak charging hours, and it's listed there. And
Wait,
that
is
so
there
I
any software? Do you know with chargers?
$4.
Do you know if there's any smart like chargers out there that does that automatically? That, just kind of draws only during the optimal times.
I don't think so, but it should be. I mean, as far as I know, I'd have to get up at midnight and plug it in.
Well, the reason I thought about this, sorry for taking a little tangent, but it's related. Tesla sells those battery walls for homes, and there's a process where you have a big battery in your house, and it charges when electricity is cheap, and then you only use it when it's expensive. And so you eventually you whittle down the actual effective cost of the electricity.
Yeah.
And that would be a similar thing with charging a vehicle.
It'll happen. I mean, that's a
Interesting.
great idea.
Yeah, great
I
idea.
just invented that on the radio.
Earl,
I did.
Earl, just to let you know, you don't have to get up at midnight. When
Yeah.
you go to charge your car, you can schedule
Yeah.
when your car starts charging.
Oh,
And
that's
so
right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly. Thank you. That was the best tip I've had all day. I'll do that.
So and then if the gentleman's still listening, I was looking last night for some reason, but ignore the haters out there. There's a lot of bad press that's always going on about Teslas,
Yeah.
but right now, if the Tesla Y, they're coming into South Florida here, and they're going for $51,000. You
Yeah.
can get a Tesla long range.
Isn't it amazing, John? Elon Musk, I'm going to tell you what a great move. I mean, there are going to be more consumers who can afford a Tesla, and it's a great car, and we are moving into, we're there, we're not moving into it, electric.
Yeah, and right now the Tesla Y is eligible for the $7,500
There you go.
until March.
Exactly. Yeah, it's there are actually rumors that Elon Musk, he is planning now to come out with an even lower price Tesla. His goal is to be the number one car manufacturer in the world. Right now, he's halfway there, and he wants to double his sales. And he's already committed the budget, the billions and billions that he's going to have to spend to do that. And he knows to do that, he's going to have a Tesla that you can buy all electric vehicle probably for somewhere around $20,000 and or maybe less. So when Elon Musk speaks, people listen. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and then I've mentioned it before, but like I said, the gentleman, I think he was in Delray, just based on experience, I drive from here to Houghton Lake, Michigan, and it cost me $70 one way.
Wow.
Driving from supercharger to supercharger.
Wow.
That's amazing. John,
What a statement.
thanks very much. Now, it's nice to hear somebody say nice things about Tesla because you're right. There are a lot of Tesla haters out there, and Elon Musk. It's interesting. I mean, anytime something gets hugely popular and successful, there's always another side. But that's the way life should be. Democracy. Speak your mind.
Yeah, and for those that are on the fence about whether or not a Tesla, hey, go to Turo.com and rent a Tesla for 3 days and see if you like it or not.
There you
Because there's
go.
a lot of them out there,
Win-win.
and they go for $70 a day. So
It's worth it.
yes, all right, very good.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Give us
You're welcome. Thank you.
Give us a call again, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, I asked a question earlier, and I'll repeat it if you didn't hear me. I'd like to know what brand vehicle you would rather drive, and also this Buick that women would rather drive. Are you one of them?
Engineered by a woman. See, that's the genius. I'm always saying negative things about General Motors. That is a very positive statement that they had the foresight to realize, hey, if you want to sell more cars to women, let a woman design the car, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
The Buick is designed by a woman.
Yeah, the inside of that car, boy, I'll tell you what, you climb into the car, well, you purchase a car, then you climb into the car and you're driving, and all of a sudden you say, Lord, what can I do with this seat? It wasn't designed for me, the female, that may have a smaller frame. There's just a lot of great ideas that can come from a female that is a engineer and designs the inside of a car. Ladies, $50. I have $50 here for one more. I'm out of breath. First-time caller. So give us a call, 877-960-9960. don't forget your anonymousfeedback.com, and we're going to go to Dick in Jupiter. Good morning, Dick.
Good morning.
Welcome.
How you all doing?
We're doing
Good
great.
to talk with you. I'm a Tesla owner up in Jupiter, and I'm a fanboy about Teslas, and I've talked to you before. Just a couple of reminders. You just were discussing charging at off-peak hours. If you go to your app, you'll find that there's a button there you can switch to charge it off-peak hours.
Mm-hmm.
And your Tesla
phone.
app.
Yeah, I'm looking
He's
at
setting
it
it up
now.
right now.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, you can do. I remember that. I think I had that. I never used it back when I was driving that one a year ago or so. But I never even thought why to use it. But yeah,
That's right here. I'm looking at it. I can't believe I didn't look at this. It's a schedule, and it says all-peak charge.
Because you don't read
Reduce
manuals.
energy costs. And all I got to do is hit this button. I just did it. Wow.
Based on the last discussion, I thought it was appropriate to call. I had another reminder item. I heard you mention a couple times that you have to be plugged in to update your Tesla. You do not have to be plugged in.
I'm holding that up for the camera. All you Tesla owners that are as stupid as I am,
No.
I didn't even know that was
No,
there.
they read the manuals.
How much does this cost me? Because I didn't know that was there.
Probably
Very cool.
$20 a month, probably.
Thank you, Dick.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those guys when I'm on the road. I bought mine when it was free, so I can go anywhere in the country for zero.
Man,
Zero charge.
that's great.
I do have the charger in my home, and that works great too.
It sure does. I remember hearing about when this is years ago, there was supposed to be an automated robotic charging arm that when you pulled into the garage, the snake-like aperture or appendage comes out and plugs your car in. Right. It looks like you had to blow a flute to get a Cobra to come up. And I tell you, I think it just made people think of Terminator and the attack of the machines, but kind of scary
Interesting.
looking.
You can still see a video clip of that on YouTube.
Was that
plugging in?
Do you know if that was just something somebody made, or was that something Tesla really?
No, that's something Tesla looked at, and
they didn't do it because it scared people.
It may come yet, because when they get the automated, full FSD robo cars, those things got to be charged. So they're going to have some way of plugging them in.
They do, and ultimately, I know a lot. We constantly, I see it on the feedback we get, and we hear it on the show a lot. The anxiety of charging, having a home charger just kind of eliminates all of that.
Yeah, Dick, I was playing with my iPhone here after you told me about the off charging, and I just remembered I have my Tesla in doggy mode now. To show you how cool that is, I don't have a dog in the car now, but we put it in doggy mode to keep the air conditioning on. So when we get in the car, it's the right temperature.
Wait a minute.
So now I'm looking at the inside of the car.
I think I see a
and
dog
my
in
dog
there.
got away. The dog's not there.
No, I see a dog in there.
I'm the same way.
Hey, Dick, what's even more fun is whenever I have the app on my telephone also. This really isn't funny, but so we're walking towards the car, and I want to activate the hatchback, and Earl wants to do the same thing. Well, he gets to the Tesla, and I decide to close the hatchback.
Is that a peacock?
And it hits him in. It hits him in the head. It's not funny, but
the bump is right there.
We have and some negative things have happened to me too. But it's just the do's and don'ts of each one of us having access to features on the Tesla. But we must communicate and know what we are doing, because it could be detrimental to our health. I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah. A couple of brief items. Another one, you have said a couple times on the air about you had to have your Tesla plugged in for the update.
Yeah.
That's not true. You can update anywhere you can get on the Wi-Fi. You got to be close to the Wi-Fi. I'll update mine on the road.
Yeah, I was wondering about. You know who told me that was my financial advisor.
It wasn't me.
Greg O'Hare.
He didn't tell you about. He didn't tell you about the scheduled charging either.
I say people tell me things. When smart people tell me things, they can tell me anything. But what you said makes sense. Why would you have to have it plugged in?
Well, no data is coming on the electrical cord. It's
Well, didn't he have a motive to his
believe-
madness? Didn't he have a motive to his madness? He wanted to drive the car.
I thought you had to plug it into your phone and dial in.
Yeah, it comes on the Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi in the garage,
Yeah,
and I just Greg O'Hare, are you listening? Merrill Lynch. You don't know what you're talking about.
Greg's out running. Yes,
Hey, Earl.
Rick.
Yeah, you can update it in front of Starbucks if you want or whatever.
Yeah.
Johnny Z. Fradley says you're in Big Dog Ranch mode right now.
That's a good one.
One other quickie, just a suggestion. I think on your people to go out to help people buy cars, the vigilantes.
Vigilantes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there ought to be a specialist to help people that want to prepare an electric car.
Well, that's a great idea.
There's a lot about electric cars that you can't cover everything on your program,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of half truths out there, and I might even volunteer to help you. But that's
Well,
an idea to get people.
we'll make you our electric vigilante, and we'll add a subcategory. Stu does that on the
That's a great name for a band, the Electric Vigilantes.
electric.
They're the EVs.
The EVs, yeah. The EVs, you get that's
EV.
perfect. Yeah.
I'm an older
Good on
side
you, Rick.
engineer, so I understand that part of it too.
Well, Dick, you are a great caller. I love to have a fellow Tesla guy on the phone. There probably are Tesla clubs. There's Tesla everything. I'm not a member of the club, but I should be.
Oh.
We have everything in common.
You'd learn a lot.
Yeah, the Tesla owners of Florida is a great outfit. They had a nice big get together up at.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I sent you a notice on it, by the way.
Yeah.
It was a couple months ago.
Very good. Okay, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And Julie, thank you so much for holding, and welcome back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I had a quick question. A lot of times in the morning, my front and rear windows are fogged up, and I turn on the defroster. And this is a very simple question. If I want it to clear as soon as possible, is it better to use cold air or hot air?
Hot air.
Actually, the warmer air, but remember this: keep your AC button on, because the air, the system then will send the air through the evaporator core, and by running it through the evaporator core, it'll actually help to dry the air, so it reduces the amount of moisture, and the drier air hitting that fogged up windshield will absorb the moisture away from the glass to help clear it up faster.
So temperature high,
Okay.
AC button engaged.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Julie. 877-960-9960.
Science class.
Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget youranonymousfeedback.com. And earlier we mentioned Earl's Vigilantes. You can go to Earl on Cars and you can sign up. It's a win-win situation. You don't have to know how to take an engine apart, but you can help other people in your community. We can all help each other. So go to Earl on Cars where you can sign up for Earl's Vigilantes. You can also win a hat that Earl's son Stu designed. Yes, Stu.
Oh, I just want to tell Rick that the air conditioning reduces the vapor pressure deficit in the cabin of the vehicle, since we're getting scientific.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just digressing. Hey,
That was important.
Since I'm digressing, can we talk about that giant bumper sticker on the back of your Tesla?
Oh, I would love to. Can I say
It's
what
larger than your
I'd like to
license
say
plate.
about it?
It's bigger than the license plate. Oh, it's a safety feature, though. Okay, go ahead.
It just, unfortunately, there are people out there who don't like looking at it. And they're very mean to us.
Oh, well, no, I wasn't being mean.
No, they really are. And we don't need it.
Oh, really? People are like yelling you on the road? Really? Oh, okay. It says...
She speaks with forked tongue.
Oh, Nancy
Look,
is?
now, the car has. We've been driving the Tesla, and suddenly it stops. Okay.
With the autopilot.
Autopilot. Right. So the car clearly says on the bumper, autonomous.
Okay, that's
Correct?
where you're getting the thing.
So we're not in autonomous.
Most people know that when you see driver training cars, it is probably the law. If not, it should be the law. But all driver training cars say student driver.
Right.
The reason they say student driver is
something can
for
happen.
obvious reasons. I don't need to explain that. So if you have a fully autonomous car, we all know that they have not been perfected. Tesla's been sued. There's common discussion about this. Nancy and I have talked about it on the air. Everybody talks about it, that there's a long way to go before a car is fully, totally autonomous. So these are beta cars on the road, test cars, and Elon Musk, the genius he is, has got millions of people out there testing his cars. He has the software wired into the computers in his labs, and he makes constant adjustments, increases the efficiency of the vehicle.
Right.
So,
in the meantime,
so that what I do, so that people know that if I have my autonomous on, you need to be careful of this car, just like a student driver would be. So you do it as a safety measure for the public. Yes.
I understand why you do.
Yeah.
You know what Tesla needs
And
to do?
there are Tesla haters out there, and they probably resent the fact that I have an autonomous car, and they probably they can't.
They call into the show too. And
They
also
probably don't know
anonymous.
what autonomous means. They probably means it's a dirty word.
They probably
To
think it's like
your
a
point.
socialist. But hey, listen, real quick. I think Tesla should have like some kind of indicator on the outside of the car, like all these red lights. It goes into kill mode, and red lights on. And everybody says, "Stay away from that car."
Exactly.
We don't want to encourage that kind of behavior. Excuse me. To my point,
Yes.
I think
am
we beat
not-
that to death, don't you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am
You are
not
beating it.
driving autonomous. I am not in the autonomous mode. The reason? It needs to be perfected. I am not driving in autonomous. I do not want to advertise that I am on the back of on the bumper. Earl promised me that he would not drive in autonomous because of some near disaster situations that we've been in.
Oh, boy.
So we do not drive in autonomous.
I don't drive autonomous with you in the car, but when I am in the car,
You promised me you would not drive autonomous.
lied.
Are you telling me you're driving
I lied.
autonomous
Ladies and
when I'm not
gentlemen,
in the car
have
with
some
you?
popcorn.
ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing a family argument right here on True Oldies.
Stu, your son has gotten out the peanuts and popcorn. Obviously, he finds this entertaining.
I think this is great radio. Actually, I think our ratings are going to soar right now.
Great YouTube too.
It is. This is good content.
I just don't want to get.
Keep going.
I don't want to get you all revved up, but I know I do that easily. But we're not driving in autonomous, and we promised each other, and you just broke your promise. Are you serious, Earl? You
the
have
air.
to answer me on the air. Are you out driving autonomous?
You can check the app. It'll tell you if you ever went into autonomous mode.
877-960-9960.
That's
Or
in
you-
the manual.
It's in the manual.
Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And if you so wish, you're anonymous. I got autonomous on my mind.
Your autonomous feedback. That's great.
I'm perspiring. I need a fan. Okay. You're anonymous.
You're getting it right. Everybody's cracking up over here.
You're
www.
anonymousfeedback.com. Okay. I'm glad everyone finds this amusing. We're going to go to Frank in Jupiter. Good morning, Frank.
Well, good morning, guys. I had my vigilante hat on, but I think I ought to take it off and put my marriage counseling hat on.
Oh, well, that's really funny.
Hey, look, I tried. What can I tell you? Oh, I got a couple of things for y'all. I got a new consumer report, and where they go in about the buying and what the dealers are doing. They must have been talking to you guys. I mean, it sounds just like your talk show for all these years. And someone's finally listening. Obviously, Consumer Reports. It was I'm sure you must have seen that issue. It just came out about buying the new cars and stuff.
Mm-hmm. They're looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, yeah. It's on the backdrop, yeah, of
Yeah, and about the nitrogen in the tires. I mean, just everything that you guys have been informing us consumers for years. They finally got on the bandwagon and joined you.
Yeah, it's the best we've seen. They do it every year, Frank, but this year they outdid themselves. They just get better. They're becoming worldwide, I think, in terms of, and it's just not cars. We talk about cars and Consumer Reports. I don't buy a product, any kind of investment, without checking Consumer Reports. I mean, I don't always follow their advice, but I usually do.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I got some issues laying around that I should have probably opened before I bought what I did buy, but I learned that. So. And back to your, I don't remember what the name of that car is you drive. Oh my goodness, I have a
Tesla Plaid.
Yeah, I saw the Plaid version the other day going down Northlake, a white one, and I go, Plaid, that's what Earl and Nancy has. And I'm looking at it, like, where's those three motors? Where's those bulging wheels? Normally when you would drive a Porsche, people would say, "Oh, that's just a VW on steroids." So I figured, let's see what the Plaid looks like on steroids. It doesn't. It's just no bulging wheels, no racing stripes, nothing. I go, oh, isn't that amazing? That was interesting to see a Plaid finally. And then earlier this morning, when you guys were talking about the windshield fogging up, I never thought that would work with the AC off like that. And it's very true, because when you park the car out here in the farms and under like a pole barn, you don't have all the dew on in the morning. And it was been cool, so I said, well, I'll just turn the AC off and save a few drops of gas. And by the time you got to Indian Town Road, it's all fogged up, and you can't even see out your window. And you go, this is weird. Turn the air conditioning on, and it clears up very quickly. So I guess we'll just leave the AC on forever. But it's interesting, neat show. Things that have happened in my life in the past or recently. You guys talk about it. And it's a very, very enlightening show, and I'm very happy to.
Well, thank you, Frank. That's very nice to say.
Thank you, Frank.
Have a good day.
Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Dan in Hope Sound. Good morning, Dan. Welcome. Good morning, Dan.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Great. Welcome.
Good. Well, thank you. I wanted to ask y'all about how cars handle now versus how they used to. My first car was a '69 Le Mans, and I could steer that thing with one finger, and I loved it, and I regret ever getting rid of it. Now, I didn't know what I had, but, I have a Corolla now that I got from y'all, brand new in '16, been a great car, hasn't missed a beat. But it takes both hands to steer it just going around a sharp corner, and the steering on cars isn't as easy as it used to be. And the other thing is, those old land yachts, you could run over a railroad tie and not feel it, and now you feel every pebble that you run over. I just think like we've kind of maybe moved backwards in that respect now. I just wonder why that is.
Dan, that's a good question. I think it probably has to do with engineering, safety. I think that I do remember going way back. Maybe it was when power steering first came out, but the steering wheel was extremely easy to move.
Really loose.
And
there was a lot of play in it.
And they probably determined that wasn't safe, would be my guess. You have to have some resistance, and you're absolutely right. The resistance in today's modern power steering is less than it was.
It might be also just like a cultural fashion thing, like people just like that. I know that like a lot of cars will have a sport mode.
Well,
that you can turn on.
You stop and think. Before power steering, you had to be a very strong person to park a car, and whoever invented power steering, they probably said, "Wow, this is really cool."
Let's turn it all the way to 10.
The easier it is to turn, the better. Rick, you're chomping at the bit here.
Well, one of the things back in the day, you had the big land yachts. The steering wheel was tiny, very small steering wheel.
When?
Back, say, in the 70s.
Well, you're not going far enough back. So you're
even into the 60s, the 50s.
No, when the
20s.
Well, you get into the 50s.
The steering wheels were much larger.
Right. You get in the 50s and early 60s. You had a much larger steering wheel.
Yeah.
But you also had a wheel that you turned 3 or 4 times around.
Yeah.
Versus a wheel now that it's 1.5 revolutions, and you've almost got the sideways. Rack and pinion steering made a big difference on that versus a gearbox that has much more moving parts.
So a safety issue.
Yeah, I remember that you'd back up
yeah.
in a spot and you'd be sitting, the wheel would be going around.
Yep. Less moving parts. It's safer. It's less parts to break. And, of course, also it's a better feel for the car that gives you a better response
Which
in
relates to
emergency
safety, yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
It was like driving a boat back then.
Mm-hmm.
That answer your question, Dan?
Yeah, and the suspension, though. I mean, you could, you had a big car back then. You could run over a curb stopper and barely feel it. Now,
I think that's the same answer. I think that the driver in the car needs to know the surface they're on, and I think that that it's probably a matter of braking, cornering, control of the car in an emergency situation. The car has to feel the road, and the driver, unfortunately, has to feel the road too. If you're in a car that floats, and I remember some of these big cars back in the day that were just like gliding on ice, but they really weren't safe. They felt good, and you didn't get any cricks in your neck from a long trip, but unfortunately, it wasn't a safe thing to have that.
And if you've ever been in a car that you suddenly are sliding on ice, and no matter where you turn that steering wheel or hit the pedals,
Doesn't matter.
nothing. The car is just on its own doing what it wants to do.
Been there, done that.
That feeling of being out of control completely, I'd rather feel that bumpy ride and be at least in control of the car.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna stay down here in sunny South Florida, away from the ice. So, well, hey, thank you for answering my question. That cleared things up for me because that's been bugging me for a long time. And I know you got other callers, so I'll let you guys
Hey,
go.
Dan, before you go, where are you from originally?
I'm from West Palm Beach originally.
Originally? Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah. And my
Another
wife is
Floridian.
too.
Nice to meet you.
So is my wife. The same doctor delivered us, so it's a small world.
It definitely is.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Thank y'all for what you do. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
All right. Have a
The driver must know the surface it's on. That's really important. Definitely important. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Your anonymous feedback, you can always take advantage of that. www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Now back to the No, we got Howard. Howard's calling right now. Good morning, Howard. Howard's our regular caller.
Yeah. How you all doing? Notice my southern accent? I come from South Bronx. So that's where I'm a southern. Okay. Rick, I have a question for you. And let's see if I can stump you. What cars do not have ABS?
Railroad cars.
Okay, not really. I'm going to stump you this time.
Cars nowadays without anti-lock brake system. I don't think there are any.
Race cars.
Well, those aren't cars. No, I'm serious. Go try to buy one right now to run on the road legally. You can't do it.
Okay. Next comment. I think I stumped you. Next question. Which cars have to have nitrogen in the tires?
Race car.
Have to have? None actually have to have, but
race car.
As a course, just a fact that they all do, that would be race cars such as NASCAR, any Formula race cars, anything where they need to be accurately able to predict the expansion rate of that gas based on the temperature in order to pick up a tenth of a second to win a race. That would be pretty much any race car.
Correct. Okay, now, next comment I have to make. A friend of mine bought a car, and it didn't have a spare tire. Instead, it had something to blow up the spare, and a couple of other tools. Toyota, I believe, except for the Supra, every car has a spare. Is that correct?
Nope. Prius Prime, when it first came out, instead of doing a spare tire, they gave you a basically a can of Fix-A-Flat and a small electric compressor that you could plug in, and you would put this Fix-A-Flat in the tire, which of course would then mean that you could not repair the tire. You had to replace it. You had to replace the tire pressure sensor and clean the wheel out. So it was a pretty big nightmare. Several other companies tried that deal, and there were several of our cars that had all-wheel drive, like Sienna all-wheel drives, had no spare tire. As a matter of fact, that's the reason they were putting run flats on them, and run flats were the reason that the government came out and said you have to have a tire pressure system on all these cars.
Interesting. Okay, one other thing, a comment that I have to make. If you have a spare tire, make sure you have the proper pressure in it, because it's very easy over a number of years for the spare tire to go down. So make sure you check that. It could be hard because you have to, to get it out is not easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as a life hack, carry a little battery operator or plug in the power outlet operated air compressor in your car. You can pick them up for less than $50 on Amazon, and they're the size of almost the size of a wallet now, but it will pump up a tire in a short amount of time to get you down the road.
No, I have a compressor. It's a great thing to have in a car.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much for the information. You all have a good day.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks, Howard. You too. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you, Howard. We're going to go to Sarah, who's been holding from Boynton Beach. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, everybody. How are you all?
Welcome.
I am calling because it was a couple of weeks ago that I heard about this used car dealer in West Palm Beach who was taking out loans on people's credits. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
I mean, taking out loans for himself?
He was taking out personal loans.
Stealing identities.
I briefly read about that. But I have to confess, I got busy something. I don't know. I was interrupted.
I understand. I'm not a part of your Earl on Cars or the Sunrise anymore. And I don't know why. But I do remember your number.
Well, thank you.
So here I am.
We always worry about that.
I wish you all a great day.
Thank you. I'm trying to look this up right now. It was in West Palm Beach, you said?
Yes, it was.
Well, I'll continue searching.
Wasn't that last week, Sarah?
It was.
Yeah. Like I said, I briefly remember reading that, and I was interrupted. Never finished it.
Oh. Well, you know what? I appreciate all of you and love you all.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you for listening. Spread the word on our female callers. Let them know. We need to hear from them. Okay, we're close the line, and Stu found the article.
I was just a little too slow. Yeah, this was in Delray Beach. It was Jason Dennis. He owns and manages Car City in West Palm Beach. He's facing multiple fraud charges. He was arrested by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. He took out multiple loans using customer information, and he's out on bail, but he's going to go to trial and face the music.
Interesting.
Ooh. Yeah, Delray Beach.
And that was
he lives in Delray. It happened in West Palm Beach. It was at Car City. Sounds like a little independent used lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the little places. Okay, we need to get to some texts and Facebook and YouTube.
Anne Marie's been ignored the entire show, or it's almost
we
over.
We apologize.
That's okay. I liked her text because I've been thinking about this all the time. She says, "Good morning. Train wrecks have been in the news a lot lately. There are ways to minimize some of the carnage. For example, if your car gets stuck on the tracks and won't move, grab your cell phone, get out of the car, and get away from the tracks. Look for a blue and white sign near the crossing." Jonathan's going to put it up on the screen for those of you who are watching the live stream. It's a blue and white sign. It should be clearly visible. The emergency notification system sign includes an emergency phone number for the specific railroad responsible for that specific crossing, and the U.S. Department of Transportation National Crossing Inventory Number, which identifies the exact location where it is. Call that number, describe the problem, and give the National Crossing Inventory Number so the Emergency Response Center can contact oncoming trains.
But if you're going to grab the cell phone, don't look for it too long.
Right.
I mean,
True.
where is that cell phone? Maybe it's in the glove box.
Exactly.
Check the back seat.
Yeah. If you see a train, if there is a train coming visibly, just get out of there as fast. If you don't see any train coming, you can take a second or two to.
I would leap out and borrow somebody else's cell phone.
Okay, you could do that. Yeah, I would just start screaming at
Get
the
out
car.
of that
Call
car.
that number. Anyway, it says once a train's brakes are applied, it will still travel a mile before it can come to a stop, depending on the speed, I'm sure.
And the weight of the train.
And the weight of the train, and the
Could be
friction
a
on the
lot
track.
more than that.
And and this is from Anne Marie. She signed it Mother Hen, which I really like. And she sent us a picture of the thing so you can watch that. And I didn't know what that was. The reason I'm thinking about trains lately is there was another Brightline accident someone recently, and I realized there's been 88 people killed in the since 2017 when they opened up Brightline. And I just can't figure that out. It seems like every month there is somebody else that gets run over by this train, and I'm just thinking maybe we're just not used to trains down here in South Florida.
Yeah, but we've had trains for a long time. I just don't think that we counted them before. I mean, with Amtrak,
it's so far out of the norm that it's been picked up by national news. And what reminded me, it was a national CBS story that picked it up, and there is an anomalous. It's an outlier. There's something going on with Brightline. I don't know what it is. Something else happened, and this is a true story. My wife and my mother-in-law were driving in two separate cars, and they were in Jupiter, and they crossed the train tracks at A1A on Frederick Small, and a train, and they've been all doing down here, folks. If you're listening in Alaska, they're doing a lot of work on the train tracks around here, and they're doing some testing, high-speed testing. And a train came out without any lights or crossing guards or crossing rails, did not come down, and they both gunned it through. So they had witnesses. If my wife told me, maybe I'd think it wasn't. I'm just kidding. But anyway, both of them came very shaken up. Called the Jupiter police and reported it. She didn't know about the blue sign at the railroad crossing. But
what a story!
What's the blue sign?
The blue sign is what Anne-Marie texted about. Has a number, so if you call it and you give them that number, they'll tell you that they'll tell any approaching trains to stop.
That is a terrible story.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very scary. And
frightening.
But she reported it, and I hope that the Jupiter police passed it along to the NTSA or something like that.
Oh, sure they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredibly dangerous.
Yep.
Very much so.
Scary.
And where is this sign that you and Earl were just
on every
Anne Marie?
On every railroad crossing, there's a blue and white sign.
But where? I mean,
it's right on the.
Is it over the tracks?
It's right on the
side.
The sign you see with the big cross X and the flashing lights. It's mounted right on it.
Okay, where it says you
where
stop here
where
on
the crossing
red.
gates come down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what you look for if there's an emergency. But like Earl had a funny but a serious point. If there's don't waste too much time looking for your cell phone.
Wow, that's so scary.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We have one. Good morning. I have a 2006 Tundra and the tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS system, in my truck. Monitors pressure in 5 tires that includes the spare. Can the sensor in the spare be removed and the TPMS system reprogrammed to monitor 4 instead of 5? Love listening to your show. Thanks. And that's from Everett.
Unfortunately, no.
Right.
That's for some reason that system was never really designed very well. My opinion. They should have had you have the ability to remove the spare, but in other cases, you should have the ability to put a sensor in the spare.
Yeah.
Because like my own truck with a full size spare does not come with that 5th sensor, and you have to go with that. But however, certain models like Land Cruisers, you could actually have an entire second set of sensors, a second set of wheels, and you would tell it which set of wheels. So if you were running summer tires versus winter tires for up north, you could literally just have 2 sets of wheels and just swap them.
Or if you're like traversing like the Arabian desert and you need extra tires.
Exactly, that too, yeah.
Okay. Here's a question here, probably for you, Earl. It says, just wondering if you have any idea the percentage of markup an auto manufacturer charges on the vehicles delivered to the dealerships. I realize prices vary and it's impossible to be precise. Is there any rule of thumb on the subject?
Well, just whatever they can get away with. The manufacturers always want to increase prices. and they can do it a lot easier because it's the pricing of an automobile is probably the most complex pricing of any product sold anywhere. And you have rebates and holdbacks and phony advertising charges. And we talk about all the phony fees that the car dealers charge.
I think he was just talking about what the manufacturers are making per car.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the manufacturers can actually increase the price to a car dealer, for example, by lowering the amount of dealer incentives that they have on the car, or by changing the freight. The freight is like a dealer fee to a customer. The freight is like a dealer fee to a dealer because it doesn't cost the manufacturer anywhere near what they charge per car. I'm going to say the average freight now is what, $1,000?
Yes.
Okay, so you have 10 cars on a truck.
10 cars on a carrier.
So it does not cost $10,000 to get a truckload of cars from Detroit to Florida.
No.
And they charge $10,000 freight. That's a dealer fee, screwing the dealer. And of course, the dealer passes the cost along to the customer, and inadvertently, you have no choice.
Especially nowadays that people are charging over.
But the increased cost to the dealers has gone up steadily over the past 3-4 years.
Yeah, and I looked it up. So as far as like gross profit margins, it varies all the way up through manufacturers, but it looks around 10-15%. Toyota is making 15%. Ford is making a 15% gross profit margin. They're recently making a negative net profit margin, and Toyota is netting net profit margin around 6%.
Yeah, and Tesla is about 23.
Yes.
Now, this is just Pete, you're not going to believe me when I say this, but car dealers themselves don't know what they pay for the car, and in my own dealership, it is a rocket scientist project to figure out what really you pay for a car. It is so complicated, and I think it's on purpose that is done that way. The dealers literally, you can talk to a dealer and you say, what is your net cost on this car? And it'll take him a while with a pencil and paper and a calculator to tell you what his cost is.
I could do it in like about 3 minutes.
Yeah, say now Stu is a general manager of the dealership. He knows.
Probably less.
Yeah, but
it takes me a couple of minutes.
It takes a couple.
Yeah.
But any other product, you say, what's your cost on that?
Right.
Exactly. Like that. Yeah.
Right.
So it's a conspiracy between the dealers and the manufacturers. Ultimately, actually, it's promoted by the dealers. I mean, the manufacturers pass along to the dealers, and the customer takes the screw-in when they buys a car.
I wonder if I could use AI. I think I could figure out a way just to have it just take a glance at the invoice with a couple other inputs.
I think even AI would not be able to do this. It is so complicated.
Well, I used AI just now for the radio show. I'm not kidding. We got a very long text, and I was looking through it, and it's very heart-wrenching, and but I had to summarize it, so I had a ChatGPT summarize it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and read the text, the summary. The texter shares a story about having to get rid of their 2021 Honda Accord Sport due to a recurring head gasket issue and a slipping transmission. They traded in for a 2022 Camry SC, and they loved it. The texter shared a story about a difficult period in their life where their family faced some serious financial hardships and they had to rely on a 2008 Toyota Prius as their only vehicle. The texter worked 75 miles away from home and had to stay at their mother's house during the week, leaving their wife with the Prius and 4 children. The Prius got them through 3 years of tough winters and never left the wife stranded. Texter just concludes that they will never buy anything besides a Toyota for the rest of their life. And it's a great story.
Great story.
And that was a ChatGPT?
Well, it was a very long text, and we didn't have time to read on the whole thing. It had a lot of details in it, and so I copied it and pasted it and said, could you summarize this in a few sentences?
Did you know that Apple, there's an app that Apple is censoring because the ChatGPT that Apple was going to use for the app would be not for children's consumption.
Oh, okay. Some NS not suitable for work stuff.
X-rated, yeah.
NS, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some really, really kooky things going on with this AI stuff. It's fun to play with, but it's a whole lot to ponder. All right, I'm caught up on text, but we did have some anonymous feedback, and while I'm pulling that up, because they logged me out, what's going on over there on YouTube?
Actually, things have been rather, not so quiet. We were having some interesting discussions here.
Okay.
Earlier, David A. and I were discussing the ideas of the inventory coming back onto dealership lots. You know, he was wondering, would we ever see the days like we'd had 5 years ago when you could walk on the lot and there would be just row after row of cars that you could choose from?
Well,
and
that was something
I think
that
we got to do the mystery shopping report, folks.
Are we? Oh yeah, 9:40.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have
Let's
to.
go.
We're going to have to continue these, Rick, next week. We're running out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that you vote on the mystery shopping report. Our mystery shopping report is from Napleton, Northlake Hyundai. And you definitely want to listen to this mystery shopping report. And as I sometimes say, well, these shops never cease to amaze me. Well, Agent Lightning did a great job, and Stu did a very, very nice job in writing it.
I just want to say I didn't write an introduction because Napleton needs no introduction. Because, seriously, I think that's, well, first of all, they're all over the country, but that's one of the dealerships we can name, and every listener, no matter where they are, knows exactly who we're talking about.
Yeah, they're in over 6 states, I believe. Yep. So, Mr. Recovering Car Dealer?
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes here.
We got 19 minutes.
I arrived mid-afternoon. I'm speaking of the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, and walked around to see what inventory was available and to see if any salespeople would approach me. Then I headed inside after about 6 minutes of aimless wandering. I circled that because it tells you the attitude of car dealers today with the low supply, high demand, and insane pricing. The salespeople are making a lot of money, and they don't have to work too hard. So someone comes on the lot, nobody rushes out. That's actually good in a way. People in years past were surrounded by, I call them the wolf pack, as soon as you got out of the car. Today, you can get out and go to a car dealership, and they just wait till you come in and take their time, and they say, $5,000 over a sticker, take it or leave it. And
don't you like that better, though?
It's the salespeople love it, and the car dealers love it. I was greeted as soon as I walked through the door by a younger salesman with a name tag that read Marcus. I let him know I was interested in the 2023 Santa Fe Hybrid SEL. I chose this particular dealership because they sold Hyundais, and the Consumer Reports ranked the 2023 Santa Fe Hybrid SEL as, I think, either the number 1 or number 2 best new car for the year.
So it's a good-looking car, too.
I was just curious to see what a car dealer would do selling a car that had the endorsement of Consumer Reports like that. So I followed him to his desk. He asked me for my name and driver's license, and then asked if I'd be trading anything in. I said I won't be trading anything in. Then he asked if I would be registering it to the address listed on my license while mentioning how close I lived to the store. He asked if I would be leasing or financing. These are all qualifying subjects that you will always get when you go into a car dealership. I figured I'd switch it up today, and I said I would likely be paying cash out of my trust account. That's a nice twist. He then asked me if I'm doing that because they offer me a low APR. And I said, no. I said, my trust account would be pulling cash out. And then he laughed, said, smacked himself on the forehead and said, yeah, I knew that. I'm embarrassed. So, hey, he's a genuine guy. I mean, I like that. You say something stupid and you admit it. Smack yourself on the forehead. That's really good. I like that. He then excused himself to go get the keys so we could go out on a test drive. I let him know I'd be outside getting myself familiar with the new car. He came out and said he'd move it out in a rather in a tight location, so we jumped in the driver's seat. I kidded him about don't wreck my new car when you back it out. Once he pulled it out, he asked me to please be patient with him as he needed to run back in. This is another nice natural touch, I think. Maybe a little too far because he had to go to the restroom. He said he needed to go really bad. I'm not sure if that is Emily Post-wise or not. I guess it's okay. Once we were both in the car, he went back over the bells and whistles his car offered. When you hit the turn signal, a camera pops up on that side to show what might be there in the way. And by the way, our Tesla, Nancy's and my Tesla, does the same thing. Very, very handy. Turn your signal on the left. It shows you a really big, beautiful picture of the left lane, all the cars, and does the same thing on the right side. I love it. I asked, as the shopper, I asked if the hazard lights are on, will both cameras show, and push the button, but they didn't. He said, I never thought about that. A little strange. So we drove around the neighborhood and headed back to the dealership on Northlake Boulevard. He told me that another customer asked him what happens if you're driving 90 miles an hour on the interstate and someone hits the park button. I can see wondering what would happen. Since it's a place easy to hit, he said the car won't do anything. It's deactivated when in motion. Once back at the dealership, he asked if I had any other questions and wanted to make sure I really did like the car. I said, I do. I would love to see how much it will be out the door. We headed back to his desk, and I let him know I wouldn't be wanting any extras, and I would need a buyer's order from my trust before I can get the money. He asked if I'd like water, coffee, while I wait for the numbers, and then excuse himself. I sat waiting for about 20 minutes, and then, that's a long time, Marcus came back and apologized, asking me to please just give him a few more minutes, as there are only 2 sales managers here today. I agreed, but I said I would need to leave soon to get my daughter at the bus stop. Finally, 12 minutes later, he returned with 2 worksheets. This is a new twist. I haven't seen this before. This is mystery shopping report first. 2 worksheets. One was my deal, and one was supposed to be what it would be if they don't give me a huge discount. So, actually, it's clever.
This is what it could be. This is a worst case scenario.
Yeah, right. We all want a discount, right? And we all know how people mark things way up so they can mark them down again and impress you. So this is that psychology. Say, boy, did I get a big discount at Napleton. They marked it up $2 million, but then they marked it down $1 million. So if you get my drift. He wanted to contrast the 2, as I just said. He wanted to see that they are adding on. He wanted me to see that they are adding on market adjustments, but the sales manager heavily discounted it for me. A hypothetical worksheet labeled "should be" added an $8,995, $9,000 market adjustment to the $42,000 MSRP, and also added an $899 dealer fee. You're going to have to wait for this, folks. It's a long list. A $129 e-tag fee, a $149 private page agency fee, a $217.50 Florida dock stamps, a $199 dock fee, $2,517 platinum warranty. I'm running out of breath here. $998 LoJack, $299 nitro inflation, $599 window tint, $1,230 Xylon protection, and $199 for Napleton maintenance. $16,301 in total. Absolutely, that's a should-be worksheet. The worksheet labeled is, now here comes the big discount.
That's a whole nother car they just added.
Right. And represented the deal they were giving me was better. It was exactly the same, except they knocked $6,000 off the market adjustment. The real deal was only $10,430 over MSRP.
Much better. Much better.
I told him my trust manager likely won't go for all these add-ons. Please take it back to the sales manager and give me the best deal. I don't have much more time, he said, and we don't have much more time. Okay, please give him 5 to 10 more minutes. After more than 10 minutes, Marcus came back with another sheet saying he was able to remove most of it. The new worksheet came down another 6,000, but I was still 4,000 over MSRP. Marcus made sure to tell me that he's not supposed to give out any proprietary information, so I couldn't take the worksheets with me. He asked me not to take the picture. I asked him how I'm supposed to give the information to my trust fund to get approval. However, it's unlikely they will approve it due to the market adjustments, and I took the pictures anyway. Atta girl. Next day, Marcus called me and asked if I had spoken with my trust. I informed that I would not be moving forward due to the markup and other fees, and that I would be looking for all other available options. He said he would speak with his manager to see if there's anything else they could do to lower the price. Garrett, the general sales manager, followed up with me after Marcus. He asked how I was treated at the dealership and if there was anything he could do to earn my business. I gave him the same response, that there's no deal with market adjustment. He mentioned that he's not trying to make anyone a bad deal and that he could meet me halfway with a $1,500 market adjustment. He also mentioned the other dealerships in the area are doing market adjustments up to $3,000 to $10,000 for hybrids. I thanked him for his time, and this is just silly. I mean, this is, I could use another word, that's just Napleton.
I don't understand. They just got hammered by the feds, and they just paid millions of dollars. And I know you said the money is not a lot, but the publicity, no one's paying attention.
Well, not only that, the doc fee and the notary fee, that's a lie because you don't have doc fees. It's a cash sale.
Doc stamps, would be
stamps.
illegal. Yeah, that's on a finance. That's a tax
exactly.
on a
There's
on
no
a loan.
financing. There's no doc stamps. The whole thing is just off the chart. Federal Trade Commission, you're not listening, but Ashley Moody, you're not listening. None of the regulators are listening. And Napleton, who is, as Stu just said, was fined, what, 10 million, 20 million?
20 million, I think.
Yeah, 20 million. That's how much it bothered him. They're still doing the exact same thing that they did before. And we really don't need to take a vote here, but we will, because I know you folks out there that are listening to this are probably as shocked as we are. Not that Napleton is this bad, but that Napleton is this bad after they've already been fined $20 million by the Federal Trade Commission. What does it take? Maybe $200 million would get their attention. Let's.
Yeah, we got some. I got a F triple minus from Mark. Mark sent it in. He goes, they need me to charge us something much worse than that.
Yeah.
Bob, Napleton Hyundai, marked my grade up to an F plus, but I discounted it back down to an F. Very good. How you like that? And Anne Marie, mother hen, F. And I'm going to concur with my people over here. Well, I got another one just popped in. We must have irritated people. Another big fat F, and I agree wholeheartedly. I'm giving him an F. I'm just checking Facebook real quick. Nope. There we go. On to you, Rick.
Kirk in West by God, Virginia. Oh, no. Yet another Napleton. King of the junk fees and shifty sales tactics. Napleton once again earns a solid F minus. Let's see. Matt C. I went to that dealership once. They called it the Napleton buying experience, LOL. He didn't give a grade, but hopefully he will. Hey, Matt, come back with a grade for me, buddy. Tom Stickle, Napleton, how do you cheat me? Let me count the ways. F, doc stamps on a cash purchase is a bold-faced lie. Johnny Z. Fradley, I'll give him a generous F plus because the battery fee's only $1.50. Scott Hunter, F. Tim Gilliland, here's the price, just don't tell anyone, D minus. Mark Smith, D minus. Mark Ryan, unbelievable, F. Rocky Blockatiel, F minus. Nitrogen again? Really? Brian Sidlatko, how is this dealership still in business? F. Baby Boomer, big F. Myself is an F. Run away from Napleton, folks.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're back to $2.99 for Nitro. Remember, that's what when Nitro first came out, they were selling for $300, and then it came down. Now it's $99, $69. Napleton's back. It's inflation, folks.
They got to earn that $20 million back.
I know. They probably have.
I just don't know how their attorneys allow them to put a $217.50
Florida doc stamps.
Florida doc stamps, the Florida documentary stamps, which are only charged on finance
By the state of Florida.
by the state of Florida. And
Is he giving that to the state of Florida? I mean,
Yeah.
that's blatant fraud. He's doing that on
Yeah.
to thousands of customers, and he's saying this is a Florida tax,
Yeah.
and he's pocketing it.
so that shows you what kind of local regulation we have, folks. I mean, when a dealer can openly break the law like this and just be given amnesty, Ashley Moody, we need we need somebody to investigate the media for not going after these people and the regulators. Maybe we need to go after the regulators who are they're as bad as Napleton.
This story's got legs. Come on, folks
Yeah.
in the media, if you're listening. You're
Yeah.
not. It's Saturday.
Yeah, let's go after these people. I mean, this is not this is black and white. It's not gray, and nobody could give anybody. It's got to be an F. I hate to give Fs, but this is a slam dunk F.
Yes,
Nancy?
definitely. And you've given out a few Fs lately with your mystery shopping report. Very
hardened.
unusual.
He's hardening.
Yeah. But it's hard not to have strong feelings against someone who has behaved so badly. Seriously, folks, if you take a look and look up Napleton, you're going to read that Napleton has become synonymous with excellence and teamwork. The family, they have so many dealerships, over 83 of them in 6 or 8 different states, I believe.
They opened up during Prohibition.
Exactly.
Yeah, but maybe the ones in the other states aren't as bad. I mean, do you really think?
No,
that
I think the fine.
Was it a different state? Yeah.
They weren't all. They weren't all here in Florida. They got this Hyundai that we just went to yesterday. Was one of the ones that got fined.
Back in 1931, in Chicago's South Side, there was Edward Napleton, and that's where he,
Maybe he was a
began
bootlegger.
this family tradition of taking care of people. But now, I don't know when it began. Anyway, we're going to be out of time. I could go on and on about this place and the craziness and the people that they've taken advantage of. It's unfortunate. I give them an F.
Okay.
Oh, and Matt C. came back and he says, "My grade, you ask? I just purchased my 5th vehicle from Earl Stewart Toyota this week. Best grade I can give you." I guess that says it all. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
But I know we're out of time, but just remember, we laugh at it and we say, why do people do that and blah, blah. The fact is, people, go in and buy cars there and they get taken advantage of and they don't know. Obviously, because if they didn't, Napleton Hyundai would be out of business. So they're selling cars and they're making money. And the people that are being taken advantage of are the people that really can't defend themselves. You can criticize them, but it's just not right. I mean, their victims are going in there not knowing the Napleton reputation. So, and that's the media's fault. Shame on the media.
Ashley Moody, we really need you. We definitely need you. The people need you. They voted for you. We voted for you. Thank you for joining us this morning. We had an interesting show, a great show again. We'll be right back here next week. It's 8 a.m. next Saturday morning. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.